Hey guys, pretty sweet backdrop, huh? Today I want to talk about what we label as a disease in our body. We're being told, and we have been told throughout our lives, that what we have is this. There's a test for it. And more illuminatingly is there's a solution for it. And we've taken all of that as truth. And many of us really didn't question it because there was no reason to. Because for the most part, what was bothering us, the uncomfortableness, went away. So there was no need in our minds to further investigate that. But the thing is, you're putting yourself in a box when you label something as what we've been groomed to label it as. I bring this up because there's going to be a lot of changes happening in the human body, especially in the next 10 years, 20 years, etc. And there will be people quick to label those changes that can be boiled down to a test, a positive or negative. You have this, you don't have this, but you have this. This is what you need to take to get rid of this, to be comfortable again. When, again, that is playing in a very small third-dimensional box. For a reason, you're very controllable when you're operating under the current Western medical system. And part of the matrix is realizing that most doctors are a part of the matrix medical system. They don't even know that they are, and how indoctrinated other interests have been throughout the years in their education. So are there viruses going around? Are there... I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole because there's many truths to that, and there's many different perceptions. But what I do want to say is the human body and the human, us, we, are clearing massive amounts of trauma that we have never in human history have had to clear before. Because we're moving from a third-dimensional state to a fifth-dimensional state and higher and beyond. But what that looks like is any density, any trauma in our body needs to be felt and taken care of. And we're moving into, we already have, into that phase of human history where that trauma, that shit is coming up to be looked at, to be felt. And life events, although they can be seen as horrific, like the whole COVID-19 narrative, more of those, that's just kind of the kickoff event to the trauma clearing that's about to happen in the human collective. What I mean by that is the COVID-19 narrative, however you feel about it, it brought up massive amounts of fear that has always been in the human body. People have been always scared of disease and viruses. This narrative of COVID-19 has just brought all of the the dense trauma around disease to the surface. And we're going to see not just fear around health come up, but we're also going to see it come up around money. I mean, that kind of ties super closely with the whole COVID-19 narrative. We're going to see it come up around expression and speaking your truth, because again, that's going to be connected as the one mind, the one voice kind of wants to have everyone think the same and believe the same story, believe the same narrative of what's actually going on. I mean, relationships, there's humanity right now is rampantly covered in dense trauma that we're clearing. So relationships, of course, are a huge thing that are going to be uncovered too. So again, it's not just health fear that has been in us for so long, but it's also been all these other traumas that relate against relationships, to career, to expression, to suppression, to disease, to money, to abundance, to lack, to everything. Life events, worldly events are going to keep happening for the human to look at these things. And again, the more horrific they are, the more humans are going to wake up to the fact that things haven't been necessarily or at all as they've seemed to be. And I got this intuitive hit today, or this analogy today. I love Halloween. And if you've ever been, I grew up with a lot of haunted houses, like fake haunted houses, with, fog machines and stuff growing up. And humanity's very much now going into the haunted house, okay? we're and there's some of us, like me and thousands of other people, it's not just me, there's thousands of other people who are kind of the line leader, okay? The last 5 years, I've really gone deep into clearing a lot and going around the corner. So we're all in a group, humanity's in a group, okay? We're all holding hands, God help us. And we're going around the corner to see the monsters, to see not only the monsters, but to see the monsters without their masks on, to see, and that's even, I would say, the more frightening thing for most people, to see what's actually underneath the masks of what people thought were the horrific monsters in our society. And then they start chasing us around, and we put our hands up. Some of us enjoy it, some of us are riddled in that fear. They get the chainsaw out, rum rum, like watch out for this variant, rum rum, India story, India narrative, people dropping dead. So they got the human beings running around in this haunted house, but eventually we come back to our power. We come back to the realization that the chainsaw, just like in real the fake haunted houses, they don't actually have the chain in them. It's just the illusion of fear. It's the illusion of danger. When in reality you have nothing to worry about, and people are only imposing their fear and I'll go back to the beginning of this video, the labeling of disease. They're only exhorting that control because they're scared. And because that's all they've known, through greed, through manipulation, through mind control, yada, 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 all of it. So my point is, with this video, is to question. And just because an official or a doctor labels something as, oh, this is this, and you need to take this to heal it, is a very small way of looking at something. I'm not saying it's not true in some reality. What I am saying is there's a hell of a lot more going on than the news talks about, than most people talk about in their conscious awareness. So the more you give yourself space, and the more you give yourself the truth that just because something uncomfortable is going on in the body doesn't necessarily mean that anything needs to be done. Maybe it just needs to be felt. that's one of the biggest things that humanity is stepping towards. That it's okay to be uncomfortable, that it's okay to experience pain, that we don't need to. And again, if you've been like me, you know, I escaped pain through Tylenol, through, you know, many other things, but Tylenol is one thing. And again, I don't want to throw Tylenol under the bus, but any kind of pain suppressant, you know, that's, think of like the years of not feeling what needed to be felt. Again, trauma is just stuck energy in the body. So we're reaching a point in history of the human race where there's no more stuffing it down. Because of external events, everything that has been stuffed down is going to come up. And what we label that can be anything. I'll leave it at that. Or I'll say this, you can play in the game of what Western medicine labels it as. You can play in the game of what conspiracy theorists label it as. Like, you know, you have to be afraid of like EMFs and all this stuff. You can play in that game. You can play in the game that you're a soul in the human body and you're ascending and you're clearing a lot of dense trauma in your body, and it's very fucking painful at times. Very painful at times. And that you don't necessarily have to give your power away to a doctor or to anyone to fix it. That you heal on your own. I hope this helps. If this resonates with you, great. If not, that's okay too. And I just created a Patreon. If you guys feel called, I got no pressure to contribute to a Patreon channel of mine. I'd greatly appreciate it. And PayPal, my PayPal link will be up in my Instagram description link tree and in the comments of this video on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Peace.